Welcome to Reread, where I'm rereading through the expanded universe in chronological order. And folks, do I have a doozy? Yes, I'm using the word doozy here, of an episode for you today. I'm going to review, in a little bit of detail, summarize each one of these, the Star Wars Republic issues 55 through 64, and probably a bonus comic book as well. So let's do this. First off, this is the Battle of Jabiim, the aftermath of it. That took a while, after Jabiim, and then kind of a wrap-up of where is Obi-Wan. So that's kind of why I chose this block here. I said this, I remember doing this in my review, talking about how great it was, and the artwork. Let me just stop right here, because I never gave credit to the artwork, I don't think. It is phenomenal. I mean, this is, like I said again, Dark Horse was king of the Clone Wars. Before Dave Filoni came around and just kind of vomited on the whole timeline, if you were to ask me right now who did better, comic books or novels, in this one case, this one error, so to speak, Dark Horse killed it, knocked it out of the park. Here's a few of the stories. Of course, the Battle of Jabiim, they're on this planet. It always rains. They're on it for like 32, 45 days, something over a month. It says day 33, day 34, day 45. It kind of skips around but gets longer as the adventure stays on there. It's this long, drawn-out battle. And Obi-Wan is, a general now, and Anakin goes, "Master, I was thinking, if you're a general now, what does that make me?" And Obi-Wan says underneath his, as they're fighting, he's like, "A Padawan." Like, don't get any ideas of greatness there. So it's really great. People of Jabiim, I don't think I mentioned this last time, but they look like Vikings. They got braids in their beard and stuff. They fight with swords and whatnot. They're sour at the Republic because the Republic was never there for them when they had crises. And now that the Republic needs them, oh, screw that. We don't want you on this planet anymore. We'll take the Separatist over you. And so they're basically fighting people on the planet, but they can't let Jabiim go, It's crucial not to lose any more planets. However, as you know, they're going to lose. Heartbreaking loss here, as it seems at the end of the comic book that all of the Jedi Masters die in the big explosion. And Anakin thinks that Obi-Wan died. And so then it goes into where future issues talk about the Padawans struggling to get to the camp, to get the evacuation, but as everyone's going to go evacuate, the Padawans decide, no, we need to make a final stand, and just give them as much time as they can to evacuate. Well, as they're making this plan, that is when an important holo message comes in, and it's Palpatine saying, "Anakin, I know you want to stand with your fellow Jedi, but I must have a Jedi. There's no, commanding officer there for the clones. They need a commander there to, execute I need you there for the evacuation. You've got to oversee the evacuation. I'm so sorry, Anakin, but you're the only Jedi I've ever been able to trust. You've never let me down. Please don't let me down." Because Palpatine knows, we're going to slaughter everyone there, and I don't want you there. I have an investment in you. But Anakin's, upset, so he has to go. Next issue, of course, all the Padawans die. Anakin's the lone survivor. He does evacuate a lot of people. Unfortunately, the other type of Jabiim people who are fighting for the Republic, they still believe in the Republic. They don't believe in those their other clansmen who are for the Separatists. But when Anakin says there's not enough room to take any of you, there's only enough room to take my clone troopers, and we got to take them because we got to leave. He said, "Well, when you come back?" "We're not." They've had to give up on Jabiim. He's like, "So, what our brother said about the Republic is true." And they're just looking at him, and as he's flying off, Anakin's just like looking at him like he feels bad, but there's nothing he can do. He has to fly away, and the situation is just a complete and utter disaster for the Republic. So bad that later on, Bail Organa is going to ask for an account of it, and it was just a memo. They didn't want to talk about their losses that much. They didn't want to talk about Jabiim because it was such an embarrassing loss for the Republic, which I thought was interesting. It kind of reflects real life at times. We find out what happened to Obi-Wan in another comic book. He's been captured by Ventress and he's being tortured. There is someone that's going to save and rescue him. Another clone is going to help rescue him, and they're going to be able to escape Ventress's clutches. Oh, it's also mentioned this. The Padawans, as they're together, as Anakin leaves, they said it's probably for the best. I thought this was interesting because he fights with such raw emotion. It kind of makes me, I can't think clearly when he's around because he's emanating so many strong emotions in the Force. And the other Padawans go, "Yeah, me too." And I was like, oh, that was kind of cool. Also, before leaving Jabiim, Anakin does his first ever Force choke on someone by accident. He's trying to stop this guy, and the guy grabs his throat real quick. Basically, the leader of the good guys of Jabiim, who are for the Republic, pro-Republic. So it moves them there where now Anakin does not have a Jedi Master because they think Obi-Wan is dead. And so Asajj Hett basically takes Anakin under his wing for just one adventure. And of course, Anakin does not like Tuskens, right? Tuskens killed his mother. And he's kind of being rude to Asajj Hett and decides to try to, he's like, yeah, I understand your mother died, but remember, we're not all savages. Whoever did that wasn't right. But remember, I'm not, I am Tusken, but I'm also Jedi too. Well, then Anakin, during a battle, and after they defeat whoever they're fighting, Anakin turns on Asajj Hett and starts, he said, and you need to die too. You're animals. All of you people are animals. And basically is confessing, because Anakin has so much guilt. It's basically the guilt when he looks at the Tusken Raider mask, because he says, yeah, that's why I slaughtered them. I slaughtered the whole tribe, women, children, as he's fighting Asajj Hett. And Asajj Hett defeats him and then goes, Anakin, I'm sorry, I know what it's like to go through pain. Because remember, Asajj Hett had the same thing. He had the same anger and rage when he found out about Aurra Sing and who she was and how he wanted to kill her too. And realized he had a lot of anger and a lot of issues too. But the Dark Woman, Ki-Adi-Mundi, helped him. So he wants to help Anakin. So the first time ever, he takes off his mask. And of course, we get to see his face. And of course, as I see that, I'm looking back going, ooh, I can't wait in 3 more years when I see that face again. Reading through it chronologically. But you see his face. And he decides to get rid of the mask completely now. And Ki-Adi-Mundi's like, Hett, you don't have your mask on. He went, no. He said, Anakin taught me an important lesson. He said the lesson was that I am a Jedi first, Tusken Raider second. And I shouldn't be using a mask anymore. He's like, well, Anakin, bravo, you've done well. You've done well here, Anakin. You say, I spent years with him. I couldn't get him to remove the mask. And then Ki-Adi-Mundi pauses as he walks away. He's like, wait, there's something else here. What? Is there something that happened between you? Like he can feel something went down. And Anakin is really embarrassed because Asajj Hett took the high ground and basically calmed Anakin down and told him that he has to deal with his demons. And he didn't rat Anakin out. So Anakin goes, oh no, and I think he says something, it's been really tough. We barely made it through. And like he said, we shared a moment. And so Ki-Adi-Mundi goes away. Asajj Hett turns to him. He's like, look, Anakin, he's like, you're going to have to get over your guilt for, killing all the women and children. I'm sure when you think back on it, you'll know that you were wrong. Admitting that you were wrong is the first step in walking back into the light. And I have faith that you will. I have faith that you will see your error of your ways. I'm sure if you had to do it again, you wouldn't. And he walks away, and so Anakin's pondering on it, and he says, yes, like he would, Whatever, the answer is yes or no. I'm sure you would say, if you had to do it again, would you really kill them? And he walks away, and Anakin's pausing, and when he leaves, he just says yes. Like Anakin's heart's still full of hate. It's a really good issue there. Next one. As Obi-Wan is escaping, I should mention this, he does find out Ventress's origins. We see what she was like, a Jedi who crashed on her planet, took her under her wing, taught her a little bit of the Force, but eventually the Jedi Master died. She became angry and kind of opened herself up to the dark side because he didn't train her in the dark side. He didn't warn her about the dark side. And she went around honing her skills until she eventually found Count Dooku, who's really been giving her an upgrade on her skills. So it's a little bit. I don't think we've ever saw anyone else put an origin on Ventress. I knew they told it somewhere, and I couldn't remember if this was it or not. But this is Ventress's origin story in that issue, which was really good. The next issue I remember very well. Finis Valorum goes to visit Bail Organa. And this is the whole thing about, when Organa's trying to get a report on Jabiim, and they're like, you missed it. We talked about it last time. And they said they only said it as a footnote. They don't want to talk about it because it's an embarrassing loss. But it talks about how Bail Organa, they ask how he and his wife are doing. He said, well, she had another miscarriage. We really want to have kids. It doesn't look good. And they're like, oh, I'm sorry, Bail. He's like, yeah, I know. So it's basically setting them up for when they're going to get twins, or one of the twins later on. And Bail Organa gets a surprise visitor from Finis Valorum, who basically says, hey, are you people all gone mad? Starting a war? Having an army? Giving Palpatine all the power in the world? I'm not bitter at him for setting me up to fail. He's like, well, Finis, I never believed those rumors. He said, well, thanks, but you're the only one probably. He said, I'm just telling you, I'm not here to get back any power or get back into the political realm. I'm just here to warn you, Palpatine's not a good dude. He's not going to give up his powers that easily. He's been making everyone fearful of something, and giving people who gain power very rarely give it back. All right, so he just keeps warning him about that. So Bail Organa understands that. He goes to Counselor Palpatine, talks to him. Palpatine, says, "Look, I can't do anything because there's a new, some kind of order this vote that was Bail Organa thought was put down. It was basically resting more power to Palpatine, but now it's going to come back up because of an attack by Bail Organa got attacked, and now they want to give the Supreme Counselor some more power. It goes through anyway, even though Bail Organa gives a great speech. The Counselor Palpatine says, "Good speech. I'm sorry it didn't work." He's like, "Okay, whatever." And then he tells Finis Valorum, as Finis Valorum gets on this transport to leave. Oh, this is before the vote happens. He tells Finis Valorum, "We need you here." He's like, "Well, don't worry, I'll still be in contact with you." As the thing flies off, the whole ship explodes in the air, killing off Finis Valorum. And I remember I was shocked when I first read that, but a really good issue, because that really gets people in a stir, and they demand that Palpatine take this extra power here to assign things. So his dictatorship is growing, but then he assures Bail Organa he has every intention of giving it back. It's a really good episode, or issue, I should say. I feel like episodes here. The next one, Anakin finds out that Obi-Wan is alive. It's kind of funny because Anakin does a really risky maneuver and blows up this huge Trade Federation ship, or Separatist ship, and he yells, "Yeehaw!" And Ki-Adi-Mundi's like, "We do not celebrate the death of other people." He goes, "No, I just realized," and it's true, he got a flash that Obi-Wan is alive. But in reality, I think Anakin was cheering because of that maneuver he made. He just used that as his excuse. Well, none of the other Jedi Masters feel that Obi-Wan is alive, but Ki-Adi-Mundi goes, "Okay, well, I'll go with you. Show me." And then when they get to the planet where Obi-Wan is, he realizes, "Oh my gosh, I feel him too. He is alive." Because the whole time, and Ki-Adi-Mundi is now taking Anakin under his wing for right now as a temporary master. So they go ahead and trust Anakin's intuition that Obi-Wan is alive, and they go check it out, and sure, they save him just in time as another threat is getting him on, and he and Anakin are kind of kidding each other. After that, the story kind of switches off, and it goes into Vos a little bit more. He's going deeper into the dark side from Dooku. In fact, Dooku tells him there is a Sith running who's basically running the Senate, and he hints at who it could be. Well, Vos goes undercover and kills that person. At first you think it's Palpatine, but then, because it's all shadows and light, but someone with old white hair and everything. He has a Jedi bodyguard, the whipped Jedi Crook, Master Crook, and he kills the senator. And it turns out to be some random senator, not Counselor Palpatine. But instantly after Vos kills him, he realizes that was not the Sith. And so he escapes from the Jedi, the whipped Jedi, who is vowing vengeance that he will bring Vos to justice. And he gets back to Dooku and goes, "You lied to me. He's not the Sith." And Dooku goes, "Strange. I never mentioned he was the Sith. I just said there's a Sith ruling, or that's basically has all the Senate under his grasp." He said, "You just assumed it was him. But thank you for getting rid of a political opponent of mine." So basically, Dooku fools Vos, and Vos keeps saying, even though he's in the dark side, he can still see the light. He's barely hanging on, but he's there. But is he just telling himself that? Finally, you have the Jedi Raynor Kim and a Padawan. They basically die in this war, and they don't know what happened because it wasn't supposed to be the Separatists weren't supposed to be there, but this huge army comes and just kills them all. Well, then it flashes back to where they go to see Counselor Palpatine and say, "Hey, look, we think that, we want to make sure there's no hidden Sith in the Senate, because there's rumor that a Sith is among us. So we want to test everyone for midichlorian count, starting with you. We think it should be you first, Palpatine, because, you're head of the Republic. And that way everyone else, they see you test for midichlorians, and everyone else will agree to the testing." Well, Palpatine doesn't want that, right? He knows they're going to find him out. And so he goes, well, I'll think about it, but you go on your mission. We'll talk about it later. He said, did you talk about this to the Jedi? He went, no, I haven't mentioned to the Jedi because you and I are such good friends. And I was thinking, how are they friends? And it flashes back to when the counselor was Senator Palpatine, and how this Jedi, who did not know his father, who was a senator, died. And during a moment on Coruscant where the senator was trying to get to know his son again, who had been a Jedi Knight but never got to know him, when he gets assassinated, the Jedi thinks, oh, they were trying to assassinate me, not him. And so he decides to stay on Coruscant for a little while, and at the funeral, Palpatine meets him, shakes his hand, and says, I'm the person who's replacing, the senator from Naboo. I'm Palpatine, who are you? He said, well, I'm new here, let's be friends. You can teach me about the Force, I'll teach you about politics. That whole scene is in James Luceno's Darth Plagueis. It's beautiful. So if you're reading, I'm sure this comic book came out first, but James Luceno fit that in seamlessly in the Darth Plagueis novel. But you want to see the comic book version of it, it's in this issue. It's just really great. This is issue number 64, by the way. What a great issue. It was fantastic. It was fantastic because he is there. Basically, Senator Palpatine has always been pulling the strings. That's why he trusts Palpatine. That's why he went to him first before the Jedi Council. He said, well, we'll go. But the Padawan goes, well, shouldn't we tell the Council? He's like, well, not yet. He said, Palpatine's a good friend of mine. I trust him to, if he agrees, then we'll tell the Council, because the Council is going to tell us, hey, you need to check with Palpatine first. It involves the Senate and all them. And of course, that's why when they go on their mission, when they didn't think it was that big of a big threat shows up, because of course Palpatine wants to get rid of him now. It really solid story. I'm telling you, Star Wars Republic during the Clone Wars era, excellent stuff. All right, folks, that's it for now. See you next time.